Good morning,
Hello,
Walter. How are you?
good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Baruch Hashem.
Where are you sitting? It looks like in a.
I'm in Hong Kong actually, and
Oh,
sitting.
what are you doing in Hong Kong?
I'm here for business.
What what kind of business do you do in Hong Kong? I love Hong Kong.
Basically, I'm looking at products, electronics primarily,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I used to have a good friend over there that was in it's Robert Schweitzer.
Oh, I remember him. Of course, I know him.
Okay.
He's
You knew
he
him.
was I knew
You
him,
knew
right?
him.
Right. I
Yeah.
know
Okay.
he got married very late.
I used to
Huh?
I used to have an office on Queens Road. I used to have
Really?
an office on Queens Road. Yep.
What business were you
Okay.
in? Oh,
Huh?
we'll carry on. Okay.
Samech Vav,
We're on.
66. Amalei Ravacha Breder Rav Ravashi. Elameyato Gabi Bord Ichsiv. It says V'chiyivtach ish bor. If a person opened a bor, v'lo yichasenu didn't cover it. Ochanami dein sarach l'chasois. Because we just finished by Nola Sa'of. It says lo yavdil, which the Gemara now explained. You don't have to be mavdil. So is that going to work the same way by a bore that you don't have to cover it? You have to cover it. Hachiyash, there's no comparison. Hasam, it says Dichsiv Bala Bor Yishalim. So we know Iluyu Dirami Lichsui. If he has to pay if somebody falls in, then it's certainly his responsibility to cover it. Avalacha Michte Ksiv. It said Ba'ayla Sa'oy Vihi Krivo. Cholak HaKosu Ben Chata Sa'of La'oyla Sa'of. That by a Chatas, you have to be Mavdil. By an Ola, you don't have to be Mavdil. And only that one you have to be makriv that way. Or by an ola, but not by chatas. So when it says by chatas of lo yavdil, la malish mami no, shein sarch lahavdil. That you're not required to be mavdil by chatas oif. Mitza damaguv, if you press the blood of the body of the bird and not the head, it's kshera. But if you only did the head, not the body, it's pasul. Ton rabbanon, ola, aval pisha mitza damaguv. V'lo dama rosh. It means it works. The ola is kosher even if you press the body, the blood out, but not the head. Yachol mitzvah dama rosh, v'lo mitzvah dama guv. Maybe it would be good even if you just press the head. Talmud loimer who? So I mean, who? What do you mean who? Ola who? My Talmud. Where do we see from that? Like you're learning. Amar Ravina. It's not from the pasuk. It's mistavra. Sharov damim beguf shchichi. 90% of the blood is in the body, not in the head. So it's dependent on the mitzvah of the dam in the goof and not in the road. Hanulach kotche, kotche, manulach kotche, kotche, manulach kotche, kotche. New parak. Parak shishi. I'm sorry, parak shvi.
Mhm.
Parak shvi, the seventh parak, katasov. I just need a napkin. 1 second. Chatas ha'of she'asa lamata. You did the chatas ha'of is supposed to be done below the line, and you did it below the line. Kemaisa chatas l'shem chatas. You used the standard procedure, which was malika, where you divided one of the pipes, and then you sprinkled the blood, and then you squeezed the blood out. That's the procedure. Kshera. That's exactly, you did it the way it's supposed to be done. Proper place, proper kavana. However, k'maisa chatas l'shem ola. You did the standard procedure, but you had in mind ola. Or k'maisa ola l'shem chatas. You did the procedure that you normally do for an ola, which the Gemara will tell us what that is. Even though you had in mind for a chatas, or kemaisa oila l'shem oila, you did the procedures for an ola in having in mind an ola, even though it's a chatas, psula. So it's all puzzle. You can't eat the meat, and the bailim have to bring another korban. Now, asala maila, if you did anything above the line, no matter what process you did, it's psula. Doing it above the line always invalidates. You always have to do the activity of a chatas ha'of below the line. Now, olas ha'of, she'asa lamala, that's the normal place to do an olas ha'of. Kemaisa oila l'shem oila, and you used the procedure for the ola. You did malika to cut both of the pipes, and you squeeze the blood. You don't have to do hazah. You just do mitzvah. You just squeeze. Kshera, that's the standard way of doing. However, kemaisa oila l'shem chatas, you did the procedure for an ola, but you had in mind chatas instead of ola. It's kosher. You can complete the offering. Vachle also labaila. Well, we learned that in the first Mishnah of the Masech Zevachim. It's not oil labaila l'shem choiva, but it's kosher. You can eat it. Now, you took an ola bird, and you did the procedures kamaisa chatas l'shem oila, or kamaisa chatas l'shem chatas, psula. And asalamata, if you did an ola, which is ola sa'of, anything with any kavar, with any procedure below the line, kamasakulon psula. Just like we said that the chatas sa'of that's done above the line is always possible. If you do an ola sa'of below the line, it's always possible. Now, the Mishnah started off with a bird chatas, and it offered the example if you used an ola procedure. It means deshani mai. What did you change? Ilem deshani b'malika. Now, by chatas sa'of, you don't have to separate the head. It means you only have to divide one of the pipes. By an ola, you divide the esophagus and the trachea, and you can remove the head. So if you did an improper malika for this chatas ha'of, and we said it's not good, name of Klo Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. That would mean our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Shimon. Remember, he was the opinion that said, if you did separate the head from the body, it's okay. So if our Mishnah says it's not okay, must be that our Mishnah is not Rabbi Shimon, not Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. So the Gemara says, "V'lo ukinad look Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon." So what? The previous Mishnah was also not like Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. So the Gemara says, "Lo." We can still say that our Mishnah is according to Rabbi Elazar, because when we say Deshani, that he changed the procedure, was not by the Malika. it's the Shani Bazah that he didn't sprinkle the blood properly. I mean, he didn't do it at all. And he only did the mitzvah. He only like squeezed the blood out rather than sprinkling. Normally, the Chadas Ha'of requires sprinkling directly from the body, and then anything that's left you squeeze out. So when the Mishnah said that he did the bird Chatas in the manner of an Ola, it means he didn't do the Hazah, he didn't do the sprinkling, which L'chor would invalidate even according, and we could say that that is still with Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. And Hachinami Mistavra. It makes sense. Midik Tani Seifa. It says, the Seifa said, Asol Mala. If you did a Chatas Ha'of anywhere above the line, Kemasa Kula, no matter what type of procedure you did, it's Psula. Vafilu Kemaisa Chatas Hashem Chatas. It means even if you had Kavana for a Chatas, you did the procedures like a Chatas, and the Shani B'mai. What did you change? Did you do the Malika improperly? You can do the Malika no matter where you are, even on top of the Mizbech. Rather, he didn't sprinkle the blood properly, or he sprinkled it, for example, on the upper part of the Ola, upper part of the Mizbech, rather than on the lower part. And therefore, Midaseifa Bazah, if in the Seifa we're talking about changing the Hazah, Reshanani Bazah. The Gemara says that's not any proof. The area, the Reish is the Reish, and the Seifa is the Seifa, but it doesn't necessarily prove what you're trying to say. Then the next part of the Mishnah talked about changing the Ola Sa'of. And we said, if you did an Ola Sa'of using the Chatas methods, it's not good. What method? The Shani Mai. What did you change? That is, a normal Ola, you have to divide both of the Simonim. And here you only divided one of the Simonim. And you didn't, separate the head from the body. And then, Midiktani Seifa, Kulon Ein Metamim Beisablia Moalim Behen. The next Mishnah will tell us that even though you did a Malika and it's not necessarily fit for the Korban, it's not Metame Betumas Nevela. And therefore, if you swallow this bird, you will not get Tome. And it remains Chayiv Me'ila, because it's still considered Hegdish. And then what are you going to say? There are Mishnahs naming the Rabbi Yeshua? Rabbi Yeshua, Amar Ein Mo'alin. Rabbi Yeshua says that you're not over Me'ila when you offer an Ola in an improper place. Ela b'mitzui. Rather, you changed the methodology by the squeezing. And instead of squeezing it, you sprinkled it. Well, if that's so, Ema Seifa. Ola Sa'of Shasolamata, if you did the Ola Sa'of below the line, Kamaisa Chatas L'Shem Chatas, and you did the methodology of a Chatas, Rabbi Elazar Omer Mo'alim Behem. Rabbi Elazar says there's Me'ila still, but Rabbi Yeshua Omer ain't Mo'alim Behem. And the Shani B'mai. What is that Mishnah referring to? Ilema B'mitzui, if you're talking about squeezing, Eimed Rabbi Yeshua the Shani B'malika. When he said there's no Me'ila, when he changed how you did the Ola regarding Malika, B'mitzui Mi'omar. He never said it regarding squeezing out the blood. He only talked about changing the Malika. Ela Malika, you're telling me that the change was by the Malika. So I don't understand the way you've analyzed the Mishnah comes out. Reisha v'seifa b'Malika, mitziyasa v'mitzui. The change in the Reisha v'seifa is in how you did the Malika. And the middle part is mitzui. That seems very bizarre. However, the Gemara answers, no, Reisha v'seifa b'Malika, mitziyasa v'mitzui. The beginning and end cases is when he changed how he did the Malika. And the middle case is when he did an improper mitzui. So no matter what happened, whether you did it lishma, not lishma, etc., doing the malika, which normally, if it was not hegdish, would create tumas nevela, here it does not create tumas nevela. And moyalim behem. And there's still meila, because it still remains hegdish. Where is there an exception? Chutz michatas ha'of sha'solamata k'maisa chatas l'shem chatas. We said if you did the bird chatas, which you're supposed to do above the line, excuse me, if you did the chatas below the line, which is a standard valid chatas, then it's not subject to me'ila, because the kohanim are allowed to eat it after you complete the zrika. The olas ha'of that normally is supposed to be above the line, but you did below the line. But the Ezra Amar moyalin behen, you're still chayv me'ila. Remember, you can't do anything with an ola. An ola has to be burnt. It never is permitted for people to eat. So there's always me'ila. Rabbi Shomer ein mo'alim behem. But Rabbi Yeshua holds there's no me'ila. Because the Kohen changed the ola regarding to its procedure and its designation. In a sense, the ola becomes a chatas. And a chatas you're allowed to eat, so there's no me'ila by a chatas. That's the chiddush of Rabbi Yeshua. And now, there's a dialogue that goes on between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. On Rabbi Eliezer. If you offer a chatas lishma, there's no meila because the kohanim can eat it. But kishashina et shma. But if you had in mind a different korban like an ola or shlamim or something else, ma'alin bayan, there is meila. Oila shmoyalim bolishma. So an ola, where if you complete the procedure for an ola, you're also chayiv me'ila because you're not allowed to eat it. Kishashina shmoyna din shimalubo. So there's a kavachomer. You should still be chayiv me'ila if you had in mind a different korban. So Amar Rabbi Yeshua lo. Im amrit b'chatas shashina shmol l'shem ola. A chatas who you had in mind an ola. And there's meila there. Shekain shina shmol l'davar sheyesh bo meila, because he changed the procedure and the name to a korban where there's always meila. Because by an ola, if you thought about a chatas to be an ola's thrown on the mizbech, nobody can benefit from it. There's always meila. Toimer beila shashina shmol l'shem chatas. But why would that hold the same if you had in mind an ola to be a chatas? A chatas can be eaten. Shekain shina shmol l'davar she'ein bo meila. You've switched it to a korban where there's no meila because you're allowed to eat a chatas. So Rabbi Eliezer responds, this will continue tomorrow. Next part of the Mishnah. Tonight we're going to learn Sorba at 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, everybody.